Alright, hello and welcome back everybody. This is Allura SC coming back at you with another Fortnite video. Now this time around with the new hero loadouts coming in, and the new hero rework coming in. I bet a lot of you guys are asking a lot of questions right now. A lot of you guys are probably experimenting with builds and stuff like that. And all kind of just brewing up your own little concoctions and stuff, which is something that I'm very happy with. Super happy with, because with the new hero rework, there's just so many different ways to play the game. Alright, so basically today we are going to be talking about the farmer builds that people have come up with, to actually farm. Now, bear in mind that this build that we are going to be talking about today, we're gonna be not talking about just one build, but of several. Okay, the idea behind this is that we want to kind of explore very specifically what are some of the best kinds of builds we can use specifically for farming. So today, that is what we have in mind, and that's what we're going to be exploring. We're not going to be doing any kind of DPS based builds. We're not going to throw in any teddies. We're not going to throw in anything that does any kind of damage. It's all specifically for farming. Now, bear in mind as well that this is also specifically for solo farming. So what does that mean? Yes, indeed, we are probably going to be talking about a group farming build as well. But more on that later. Let's not spoil the surprise for you guys. Let's just go ahead and explore. Let's just touch on the so-called meta build that most people have probably already come up with. Okay. So I know a lot of people are talking about this new farmer build, it's the best farmer build out there and stuff like that, and maybe, sure, it could be the best farmer in certain situations. Is it the best farmer in all kinds of situations? We don't know. That's what we're gonna find out today. Alright, so let's take a look. This is probably the so-called standard, the standard loadout you'll probably be seeing for most people who are talking about the so-called best farmer build. This here is the archaeologist. Now, a little bit of explanation, we're kind of assuming you guys know things here, but let's just do a quick rundown very quickly for those of you who might be kind of like a little bit curious, about this particular build. So let's just go ahead and say that for me personally, I find that this is kind of a self-explanatory build. The build kind of like, it sort of works out, it sort of works out and it kind of builds itself. There's certain core things and aspects about it that you are probably going to be able to put together, if you just sit down and think about it. Alright, so let's just very quickly go into it right now. So let's see if I can check this right quick. Why is my key not working? There we go. Okay. So one of the main things about farming is that when you want to farm, right now, your anti-material charge, your anti-material charge is going to be the main way that you are going to be farming. Now, for those of you who know of this, anti-material charge without any buffs costs 45 energy for you to be using your anti-material charge. Now, if you are going to be farming, and if your anti-material charge or the main method of which you are going to be farming with costs you 45 energy, close to half of your energy pool, you're not going to be farming very much, are you? You're not going to be able to punch very many things. So with this and bearing this in mind, alright, we can also see what are some of the other things that also cost you energy. Now, we're not looking to do damage, we're not looking to do any kind of DPS, so we're not going to talk about Teddy, we're not going to talk about Seismic Smash. We're going to talk about Phase Shift. Phase Shift is going to be enabling us to move around faster. It's part of our mobility, helps us farm faster, so we'll talk a little bit about this. Phase Shift by itself costs 15 energy, and it has a reload time of 8 seconds. Upon using Phase Shift, you'll then gain a short burst of increased speed, and that helps you to move around faster and harvest more things. So, bearing in mind that the two main things that you're going to be using while farming is going to be your phase shift number 1 and your anti-material charge number 2. So bearing in mind with this, we can probably go ahead and say that out of the two of them, the phase shift and the anti-material charge. Anti-material charge costs way more, and if you want to farm more, you need to address the energy cost of such an ability. Now, what better way to address this than a hero whose main core commander perk is to increase heavy attack efficiency by 128%. What does this mean? Anti-material charge from 45 energy is now down to 19 energy. 19 energy cost. You're going to be able to use anti-material charge at least 5 times in a row without stopping before you actually run out of energy. Pretty cool, isn't it? Up from 2 measly punches. You get to use it up to 5 times in a row. Pretty fantastic, isn't it? Alright, so this is the strength of probably the reason why people put Archaeologist as the main hero for farming in the commander spot. Now, what better way then, to increase the rate of which you're farming by extending the tiles of which your anti-material charge goes. So most people can probably say that yes, go long arm of the law. Alright, now I understand that previously the striker was doing a much better job, as this they had an additional tile that you could punch through. Now this is kind of slightly nerfed, unfortunately, but this is kind of what we have right now. It's kind of the best that we got. So yes, long arm of the law increases your anti-material charge by 1 tile, hence also increasing your mobility by extension, because while you're anti-material charging, you're punching through more things, you're moving faster, you're moving further, higher mobility, more things to farm. Perfect. So once again, bearing in mind, what are some of the things that we're going to be using? Anti-material charge and, that's right, phase shifts. So going through all of the possible perks as well, going through all the other possible perks as well, you'll notice that yes, we do have a couple of other abilities over here, but like we mentioned, we don't want to talk about DPS, you don't want anything to do with DPS, so we just go ahead and ignore anything that has to do with damage. And what does that leave us with? Leaves us with Phased and Confused. Increases maximum phase shift charges by 1, allows you to use more phase shift. Nice! Now, what else are we going to be pairing this up with? Phased Out. Decreases the rate at which you it basically decreases the phase shift cooldown by 25% from 8 seconds down to 6 seconds, right? Pretty cool. You save 2 seconds of phase shift timing. Nice. Phase Forward grants an additional 30% movement speed for 3 seconds. Instead of 30%, now you move at 60%, right? I mean, it kind of adds up a little bit, you just move a little bit faster for 3 more seconds. Nice, you move even faster. Cool. What else can we put? Fleet increases movement speed. Flat increase of movement speed by 12.5%. Also nice. Pretty cool. Go ahead and move around faster, farm faster. Very nice. Now, I guess this last spot over here is kind of a little bit of a toss-up, right? Now, bearing in mind that previously, if we were playing in something like Frostnite, where every time it's always nighttime, then you might want to then consider putting something like Dire here in the final spot, yeah? The Night Stalker. You can put him in here and you can increase your movement speed to 25% instead of this pickaxe bonus damage, which I find to be the only thing that I'm currently considering right now. Now, if you don't want to care too much about the nighttime, daytime kind of thing, you just want to farm, then these are the 2 things that I would probably consider between work for higher pickaxe damage or Night Stalker, which basically allows you to farm much faster if you are farming during the nighttime. So that's basically the rundown. I think a lot of people have covered this already. Don't want to go too much in depth about it, but I just want to give you guys a bit of a basic understanding of why people choose this particular hero, the archaeologist, as the so-called queen of farming right now. However, what are we here for today, guys? We are here to break the meta. We want to think out of the box a little bit. You want to kind of consider other possible options. Other possible options of what kind of heroes can actually do possibly better in some of these other situations. So, drum roll cue, let's go. This is basically one of the builds that I've come up with specifically for farming solo. Now, you'll be asking me, why, Allura, are you using this particular build? So, let's get right into it. This particular character right here, okay, is the Flash AC. What exactly does the Flash AC do? Now, if we look at this commander perk, decreases phase shift cooldown by 62.5%. How long does it take? How long does it take for phase shift to recharge? Alright, 8 seconds, decreasing it by 62.5%. Let it sit for a little while. Let it sit for a little while. Alright, and yes indeed, your cooldown of your phase shift, right, is now basically down to like, you know, between 2 to 3 seconds. Freaking amazing. Alright, now that we know this, next thing we want to talk about is our team perk, 1-2 punch. What this build basically relies on is using your phase shift before using your anti-material charge. We're using the 1-2 punch. So as you can see right here, when you equip 1-2 punch as your team perk, for each hero with 2 or more stars, your next heavy attack upon using an ability costs 20% less energy. Now, if you use 5 heroes with 2 or more stars, what does that give you? That is correct. 100% energy reduction for your heavy attacks upon using an ability. Alright, so moving on. I've just gone ahead and kind of put all of the other things that we were using on our previous loadout earlier. We have more phase shift charges, we have phase forward, we have fleet, you know, same old, same old. Now, one of the loadout things that you might be asking me, some of you guys asked me as well as I was doing this on stream previously, Allura, why do you not use the archaeologist in your support? Right? Strike cost increases the anti-material charge heavy attack efficiency by 28%. Right? We're using AMC a lot. Why aren't we using this? Well, if you guys were paying attention, I basically mentioned that with the 1-2 punch, you are able to decrease your AMC to 0 energy cost, as long as you're using your phase shift first. What does this mean? Discounting your AMC is completely irrelevant. You don't have to care about it. Don't have to care about it at all. In which case, what else do we put in our support slots? We have the luxury of putting in Night Stalker for additional movement speed at night, and we also get to use Work for that pickaxe damage. Don't believe me? Alright, let's just go ahead and hop into a game real quick, and let me show you guys. Let me go ahead and show you guys how this would actually work out. Alright, so let's hop on right in. Now, I'm probably not going to really show you guys too much yet. In all honesty, I don't think that, you know, one build is, you know, just heads and shoulders above and better than the other. As you will load in, once we basically load in right now, you will basically see that there are some core differences. Okay, I'm just going to use this build for a little bit. And maybe you can chuck in some additional archaeologist play as well. Yeah, and you guys can basically, we'll basically run through a little conclusion, you know, as to some of the pros and cons. Yeah, some of the pros and cons of using this particular builds, so to speak. Yeah. So yeah, it's loading into the mission right now, and I think we're almost in. I think we're almost in. All right, cool. So, like I mentioned, one of the core things about this particular build is that you need to really make sure that every time you want to use your anti-material charge, you need to phase shift first. So let's go. As you guys can see, the only thing that's currently limiting us right now is our energy. Yeah, as long as you don't go ahead and spam it like I just did. Yeah, as long as you're not spamming it like what I did right now, you will notice that if we look at our number of phase shift charges right now, you know, there really isn't any need for us to care too much about the number of charges that we have. As you can see right now, this isn't really an issue. The only thing that is an issue right now is that we are currently capped on, that's right, energy. Both builds, the Archaeologist as well as this particular Flash AC, they are currently capped by their ability to have enough energy for them to continue farming, right? So as you can see right now, in terms of some of the strengths of this particular build, yeah, it really depends on the environment that you're in. If you see right here, if we are going to be farming in these kind of wide open areas where trees and rocks are kind of sparse and stuff like that, this is where this build excels in. Yeah, if we are going to be using the Archaeologist, this kind of areas is going to be hindering her quite a lot, because with the Archaeologist build, what is basically happening? She has to use energy both on her phase shift as well as her anti-material charge. So as you can see right now, the only thing that I am paying for with this particular build is my phase shift. As long as I have energy to phase shift, I can continuously use my anti-material charge, run around, and harvest stuff. Nice and easy. Nice and easy, as you can see. Yeah? Pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. Okay, but as you can see, because of the range of your anti-material charge, it doesn't really work very well when we have a lot of things clustered together. Yeah, if we have a lot of things clustered together, you know, you can't really like punch everything at one go like what the Archaeologist build with the long arm of the law can, right? So that's basically this build right here. As you can basically draw some quick conclusions about this, its strengths are farming wide open areas. Wide open areas with very limited things and sparse environmental objects around. If you think about perhaps something that was like Frostnite as well, you know, if you're farming in the open plains, if you're perhaps farming in the open plain area, this particular build will probably be a lot more useful. Right? So there you have it. That's some little gameplay right there for the Flash AC. So yeah, now we will just go into a very quick gameplay of the Archaeologist setup. As you can see right here. So this is probably where I will think that the Archaeologist or the long arm of the law sort of a build would work much better. So this is what I would like to call the high density farming, where wherever you are farming consists of an area where there's lots and lots of things for you to be able to work through. So in like an industrial zone, for example, you know, when you're working with a place where you simply have to consistently use your anti-material charge as such, right? In this kind of situation, then yes, I certainly will say that this particular archaeologist build is going to be pulling up ahead of the flash AC build, because as you can see right there, the moment you use your basically the moment you use your phase shift, you're going to be using 15 energy, and then when you use your anti-material charge, you're using another 19 energy, and that leaves you with very little energy very quickly. As you see right here, once we are starting to farm all of these objects out in the open as such, if I want to move around if I want to move around very quickly and get from one area to another, you know, I'm going to have to use my phase shift, and the moment I use my phase shift, I'm going to be utilizing a lot of my energy, and this means that I have less energy to use for my anti-material charge. So if let's say I were to be farming using this particular build out in the open as such, what I'll most likely be doing is running around on foot a lot more and then using my anti-material charge as such. And because of that, the amount of ground that I'm able to cover is much less than that of the Flash AC build. So yeah, without going into too much detail, once again, let me just go ahead and do a quick recap as to the pros and cons of the two different builds. So really quickly, let me just go ahead and pull up my screen real quick. There we go. And here. So just to round off very quickly, you have the Archaeologist versus the Flash AC build, the two builds that are being explored today. Archaeologist has a much more powerful anti-material charge with a longer punch range, and is better suited for high density farming, meaning an area which is more confined, less area to move around, and more things around for you to punch. However, the cons of using this particular build is that you are less mobile and you have a much higher energy upkeep, meaning you're spending more energy to keep up with your farming process. And comparing this to the Flash AC build that we were just showcasing, we are having higher mobility with this build, less energy upkeep because you're only spending energy for your phase shifts and not for your anti-material charges, and it's more suited towards low density farming, meaning areas which are much more wide open and less things around. And because of this as well, our punch is going to be much shorter range. Yeah, our punch is much shorter range because we are no longer using the long arm of the law, and because of the shorter punch range, our anti-material charge is not able to hit, you know, many things at one go, unlike the Archaeologist build. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and our next follow-up video is going to be touching on the group farming build. So stay tuned guys, I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye now.